Good morning and welcome to H&A News from Carp Studios. I'm Steve.
And I'm Barb.
This morning's special is on the life and times of Andy Warhol. Over to you, Joe.
Hello, my name is Joe, and I'm in the Andy Warhol household, actually in his bedroom. Here we have some of his art supplies he actually used in his younger childhood, which we want to talk about real quick. Well, he was raised in a traditional Czech household, and as a young child was forsaken with a lot of illnesses. So he had rheumatic fever and other things that caused him to stay home a lot as a child. And at home, his mother was the one who was there taking care of him and supporting his creative abilities. So they spent a lot of time together and became very close, and she was a very influential person in his life. Back in the studio, we actually have her to answer a couple of questions for you, so back to you, Barb.
Thanks, Joe. I'm here with Julia, Andy's mother, and she's going to give us some insight into Andy's younger life.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. So, what are some things about Andy as a young child that you think are important?
Well, when Andy was young, he had rheumatic fever and all of its complications, so he was bedridden for quite some time. So, I'd come and we'd spend quality time together, and he would be sketching in the corner with his little colored pencils and paints, and he would do all the sketches off of these little comic books I'd bring home for him. He was quite sweet, but he was quite shy because of his illness, so, he was horrible with everyone else, but with me, he would always be my little Andy.
Now, would you say that Andy was your favorite child?
I really hate to admit it, but yes, yeah, he was.
Okay, I think this is a good opportunity to take a look at the video you brought with you.
I have to properly shape this red patent leather pump. Oh, hello, Philip.
What are you doing?
I got this freelance job for Glamour magazine. I'm their new advertising illustrator.
Oh, that's really cool.
This is a big deal, okay? They already spelled my own last name wrong in their magazine, okay? It's supposed to be Warhol, and they wrote Warhol.
What's wrong, Andy?
Look, I'm in a stressful place, okay? This morning, this woman egged me because I don't talk enough to her.
Egged?
Yes, egged.
Whatever, man. I don't even know.
So, Julia, how does that video clip make you feel?
Oh, that's my Andy. He'll never change.
Well, thank you very much, Julia. It was very, very educational. We'll be back after this commercial break.
I am a stay-at-home housewife, and it can be really hard to put dinner on the table sometimes in my busy schedule. So that's why I love Campbell's tomato soup. It's good.
Hello, I'm here standing in front of the Andy Warhol Museum in Pittsburgh, and there's a lot of famous works of his here and a lot of things to see. So we have a slideshow prepared for you. Coming up next, a lot of his famous works. She's the famous art historian here. She can answer a couple questions about pop art and Andy Warhol. So Susie, could you just give us a quick statement?
Look, I'm really in a big rush right now. I really have to go.
Just really quick, how can you define pop art and Andy Warhol, please?
Pop art was this movement. It was kind of in the 60s and the 80s. It continued on. Andy Warhol started it. It really dealt with the celebrity and the famous artists in the current times. Silk screening became very popular. Andy Warhol's big. I have to run.
All right, well, thank you, Susie. There you go, folks. We heard it from the experts. Back to you.
Thanks, Joe. Let's take a moment to discuss a famous Warhol work. I'd like to welcome Sam Smith, owner of a local silk screening business and expert on the technique. Thanks for joining us, Sam.
Thanks for having me, Steve. So let's take a look at Campbell's soup cans. Here we can see how silk screening shows accuracy and realism, which allows for mass production of identical images. Which is very cool.
Interesting.
So Andy was inspired to paint the everyday subject of soup cans after mingling with an art consultant named Muriel Latow.
Muriel.
Yes, you should remember that name.
I do.
A rumor has it that he paid $50 for the idea of the Campbell soup can painting.
Wow.
That's right.
Huh. Well, thank you, Sam. That's very insightful. My children love Campbell's. Now, let's take a moment and have a small commercial break before we come back.
Fun.
Before I had glasses, I was practically blind. But since we don't have Jesus anymore to heal me, now I have glasses. With these I can see the world. The world is clearer and life is good.
Welcome back to Carp Studios. From an early age, Andy Warhol showed keen interest in celebrities. As a child, he was especially obsessed with Shirley Temple. Later on in his life, this interest in celebrities influenced his artwork as seen by the Maryland Diptych and other portraits of celebrities like Elvis and Lisa Minnelli. This interest in celebrities affected his personal life as well.
Just fascinating. Another interesting factoid we learned is that it was Andy Warhol who came up with this saying, "Everyone will have their 15 minutes of fame."
Yes, Andy Warhol did come up with that phrase and helped it really become true as well. Many of the people connected with him through different projects attended a degree of minority all throughout. One such way they a celebrity status was through the films that Andy Warhol created.
And now, to conclude our segment, we're going to discuss Andy Warhol's film career and show one of his films. We won't show you the boring ones because they film stationary objects or people until the film runs out. Some of those videos include the Empire State Building from sunup to sundown and an 8-hour production of his roommates sleeping.
Oh my. Yes, well, as his career progressed, he began to incorporate music and script into his films, and some films on celebrities, as well as the tragic documentaries. Now that's all the time we have on H&A News, but join us next week for our special on Dr. Seuss.